welcome. Sorry, maybe that's a little too up close and personal. Welcome to day 2. It is day 2 of the workshop. This will probably be the final day of me hosting from the car, but never say never. We'll go into Easter break, and then the children will go back to school next week, and I'll be kind of on a little bit of a more normal routine. Anybody else really feeling the full moon? So I just got up from a massive nap. I actually had to go send someone to pick Cameron up from the city because I was not feeling well enough earlier and could not get over a headache. So it's been raining for a couple days here, and I'm someone who has a body that is sensitive to dips in biometric pressure. If you are someone that experiences a lot of headaches, highly recommend looking into this. It is not woo-woo science. It is actually clinical evidence that some bodies are just very sensitive to magnetic shifts and can feel that. And so we had a full moon yesterday, April 1st. It was the pink moon, and it was the first full moon since the spring equinox, right? And something interesting happens for me with full moons. So typically, the collective will feel quite drained the entire week of the full moon, right? And then they might get a burst of energy like on the full moon evening, and then those couple of days. I tend to sort of get a huge burst of energy up until the moon, and then the moon lays me out. Okay, it's very rare. There's only a couple moons a year that I surge right through. And one of those is like in the winter solstice, and then in the summer equinox as well, I receive another one. So the older that I get, it's nice to be able to plan around those, right? But today I did have to teach, and I wanted to come on earlier, and that was just not the case. So my mom might pull up here with my teenager here in just a second, and he's going to want to chat with me about his day. And I wanted to come and chat with you about the struggles that we face as entrepreneurs, okay? Because before I go any further in the workshop, you really need to understand what we're working with. Like, what are the adversities that businesses face today? What are the reasons that we're not getting sales? And I would love for you guys to kind of share as well, if you can confirm some of the things that I'm going to share today as things you have experienced in your business. Maybe you're experiencing them right now. Maybe you've overcome them. Maybe you are still looking for a way to overcome them. So welcome and hello. If you are new here, my name is Jessica Louise Beal. And 6 years ago in the 2020 pandemic, I awakened to many truths. But one of the truths that I awakened to during the pandemic was to my own suffering and the role that I was playing in that suffering. And I don't know about any of you, but we get to this point where we wake up one day and we decide, I cannot go another step forward like this, right? We dig our heels in the sand. And maybe for you, it was a chronic illness, right? We're often, especially if we are high achieving, high performing, especially those of us here in the USA, where we have a society really built on the structure of the patriarchy in the way that it's like merit, right? We're rewarded off of merit, where you go to, say, Asia and the Middle East, and you're actually praised more on, are you a good person, right? What kind of person are you? They don't give a shit about credentials. They don't. And so as we're inviting ourselves to really take an honest look, this is sort of like the shadow aspect of our business, right? If we look at everything in energetics, and if you've been here a while, or even if you're new, I see the world in light, structure, geometry, energy, okay? Frequency. And I'm looking at everything in a code. Like, my brain isn't just seeing an entrepreneur that is new and struggling to get sales. My brain is seeing an entrepreneur who's maybe still carrying older karmic debt, unresolved trauma, fears around being seen, these kinds of things, right? Hang on just a minute. So there's my cutie, my little business cutie. And nothing is by chance, right? Every block, if we want to call it that, every obstacle, every portal for navigation is an opportunity to learn and grow. And so, why do entrepreneurs struggle to make sales, right? We've got supercomputers nearly in every single home. Everybody has a supercomputer. Everybody has a camera, right? So back in the day, you needed a PR rep, a publicist. You needed to have money for ads. You needed to have a photographer, hair, makeup. You needed to get figured out, get picked up by a top 5 publishing house. You needed to have all of these things in place, right? Before you could get discovered. A reality TV show at one point, you needed to be on reality TV to become a celebrity presence, okay? And I've lived in a very interesting lifetime. Like, I have lived so much abuse, so much trauma. And then I'm also a child who had the internet, right? So I saw the internet come up. And then we saw the launch of AI, right? We saw social media. And I have seen the change in humanity through this technological revolution, right? We had it when we did agriculture, back when we were hunter-gatherers. Then we had it again when we industrialized and we got motorized vehicles, electricity. Humanity and civilization is always advancing. And it would seem like, you know, the greatest time in humanity, and it truly is, where we can, hang on. Where we have all these opportunities, but why doesn't everyone take them, right? It seems so simple, right? Seems like anybody could push play and get on a video and put together a product and decide that they're going to make a sale or they're going to change the trajectory of their life. But then we only see about 3% of those people have success. Even in a masterclass like this, you're going to notice every single day, less and less people will show up. Less and less people are going to engage. Less and less people are going to be there on the day, on the final day. And this comes down to a combination of things. So a lot of it is belief system and worldview, right? Making money is really hard. I've got to work really, really hard. I can't work hard. Opportunities do not come easily to me. Why should I even try? Because it won't work out for me. Always waiting for the other shoe to drop. Always thinking, you know, bad things always happen to me, so there's no way that I could have a successful business. All of these things kind of play a role, right? But another huge thing that I see is that brands who close, especially, I have supported so many brands who are on the brink of closing. And even just in the last 6 years of starting my business, I have watched brands who started at the same time as me and they are now closed, right? Now, what's the difference between me having a cell phone, being a single mom, and these people who seemingly have a great idea, a concept, a great product as well? Social media and consistently leveraging the proper content, okay? So it's not enough to just post a trending audio. It's not enough to just post a really catchy, beautifully curated Instagram photo of yourself, right? You have got to earn people's trust. And if you're not showing up consistently, if you're not putting that energy in the game, if you're not creating the structure and the capacity for people to know you, like you, trust you, see you, get to experience you, get to experience your magic and your teaching, nobody's going to know you exist. This is a multi-billion-dollar a day industry. But that doesn't mean that every entrepreneur is making 5K a month, 10K a month, 20, 50K or more a month consistently, right? Most of them are struggling. Most of them are failing to get consistent clients. And it comes down to our worldview, our belief system, and what are we willing to do to see a result, right? For me, I knew I didn't care if it took me 10 weeks, 10 months, 10 years. I was going to go after my goal. I was going to build a sustainable coaching practice. And even when I made the transition from spiritual life coach and meditation practitioner and sound healer to strategist and business mentor, that was a huge integration, right? Because I started and my vision was evolving at one point. Excuse me, my vision was evolving faster than I was even visualizing it, right? And I had to, at this point, lead myself blindly out of faith. And we're kind of in this place as a collective right now, right? The West is collapsing as a world dominant power. We can never go back to society as it was a month ago before the war in Iran, right? It's only going to slowly come down more and more. And it's up to us to decide what side of the paradigm shift that we're on, right? When we meet again, we're going to go more into the issues on day 3. We're going to talk about real-time nervous system capacity, strategies that fail around the tech bro funnel, the self-comparison, the AI bubble. We're going to go into all of that, right? But what I want you to really just kind of sit with this week is what beliefs are coming up for me in my business. Do I believe that I'm going to have to damn near beat myself into the ground? Do I believe that it's going to be easy? This was sold to us by the Ingrid Arnas, the Robin Riveras of the world in 2020, right? The manifestation girlies only have a piece of the ticket, and they built billion or multi-million-dollar brands rather on this concept. And then tons of coaches went bankrupt. A lot of those coaches I'm serving now today, people who have been through those high ticket courses, and they're like, what the fuck? I didn't learn anything, right? I already knew the energetics. I didn't need to pay to be in somebody's energy. And so you've got to think about where you're taking this as the market shifts, okay? Because you're going to get left in the dust if you are teaching tech bros and manifestation babes and you are not giving people real-time wins. Drop it below. What's coming up for you? What is the belief system that you think is keeping you stuck, that you are ready to just leave on the altar this week completely surrender it on the altar, right? Money doesn't grow on trees. Clients aren't buying right now. That's all bullshit. Okay? That's all bullshit. Like the last day of the month, for March, I had a $2,000 day. Was I expecting that? No, I thought I had already had my great day. My bills are paid. We're going to celebrate Easter, right? But boom, boom. So this is what happens. This is what is available to you when you have a structure, when you have a system. But we've got to take an honest look, and we've got to weave through that shadow aspect first of it. So this is the time and the space to do it safely. I hope that you will share. Let's challenge you to actually get on video. Comment below here. Tell us what is coming up for you, or get on a reel. Those who post a reel are going to be entered to win the goodie gift basket from me. And I'm going to put that together, and I'm going to actually be showing you guys that. So this is going to be exciting. This is our first little game and activation. One reel up to 60 seconds, only in this group. Nobody's going to be able to see it. It's not a public group. Only the members of this group are going to be able to see the reel. What is the limiting belief, the poverty coding, the scarcity mindset that is coming up for you initially, even if you know it's not true, right? We know we don't believe it, but what is the automatic thing that's coming up with your business when it comes time to post, when it comes time to talk about your offer? We're going to go deeper into this next week when I meet you on Monday. Have an amazing Easter weekend, and I will chat with you soon.